got the truck jacked up here. Been hearing noise in the front axles. And it appears that I have a bad wheel bearing. Hear this humming noise, occasional a clanking noise. That's that. Now, if I take the wheel off and it ends up being a wheel bearing, I don't know if I'll do it today. I could just park the truck, take the RV, and then fix it when I can. Oh, we'll decide later. But either way, all right, guys. Next time you see me, I'll probably be making the soup, and then we'll talk about it further. All right, guys. You gotta love it when you have all your lights on. Well, just about all of them on. And your solar, your batteries are still at 12.7. All right, so today, rain all day. It's cold. It's like 40. I mean, I guess you could say it's not cold, but it's cool, damp. I took the front wheel off my truck. Definitely a wheel bearing on the driver's side. After some research, it's not just the bearing, you have to replace the whole hub. So I got to get parts and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to do both sides or not, or just the one. I did jack up the other side of the truck, and the wheel doesn't rock at all. There's no, it's nice and tight. So either way, it's pouring out, and there's just nothing I can do about it now. We're going to fire up the rice cooker, and we're going to make something kind of interesting. Back in the day, you think of like cheap eats, ramen noodles, macaroni and cheese, hot dogs, things like that. And because I like to cook, I was always the one that added stuff to the macaroni and cheese or added stuff to the ramen noodles. As you can see in some of my past videos with ramen noodles and the rice cooker, actually, I'll put a video. I did one with shrimp and vegetables and stuff like that. I'll put the little card, will pop in right here. This is another thing that I do. And it's called Ramen FAZOOL. You remember the old song? What was it? Dean Martin, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that song. Well, they called it FAZOOL. Fagioli, which really meant pasta and beans. Back in the day, it was a peasant dish. So it was a way of making soup or feeding a lot of people very cheaply. And what for me it does is it allows me to take ramen noodles, which have virtually no nutritional value at all, and you bump it up a little bit to where you actually get a full meal out of it. I see a lot of people on the tubes. What they do is they cook 2 packages for themselves. That's a lot of salt when you think 2 packages. Each serving is like 800 milligrams. So 1 package is like over 1,000 milligrams. If you cook 2, you're probably consuming 5,000 milligrams in 1 bowl of soup. One time you make the ramen noodles. Because you're making 2 packages because you're still hungry after just the 1. So what I like to do is 1 package of ramen noodles and make it into like a pasta fazool. So let's get started and I'll show you how that is. And something you can't get any cheaper and have a full belly at the same time. Keep your sodium level down a bit. I mean, ramen noodles are not health food by any means. Lots of sodium. But we add a little health to it by making it nutritious. At least you're getting something for all that salt that you're consuming. So let's check it out. All right, so we're putting in to the rice cooker 3.5 cups. You can see on the side of the rice cooker there's cup marks. We're also going to be adding, let's actually turn that on so we can start. And I took my rice cooker, put it on high, started it. We're just going to close that up. You can see I'm plugged in right there. Let's go check on the solar. All right, so solar's doing fine, 12.3, 12.2. That's not the actual voltage. This is the last season of the Voyager series, 7th season. So after this, that's it for this series anyway. Next will be Enterprise with Spot Bakula. We'll watch those next. And then there's a new series coming out. If you guys new to my channel, haven't seen any of my other videos, I've been watching all the Star Treks in chronological order, starting with the 1960s, and just been watching them back to back, basically binge watching when I can. So we're on high, and we're going to bring this water up. We're going to add just a little garlic herb, some oregano, black pepper, and then over here I have a couple packets of Parmesan cheese. I get these from Sam's Club. If I go in and get a hot dog or something to eat, drink, which is a very also an economical place. If you want a quick hot dog, go into your private clubs, Sam's Club, Costco, BJ's. Believe it or not, you can visit their food courts without being a member at most stores. So you just go in, just say I'm here for the food court if you're not a member, and you can go right up. I think it's like $1.95 or $2.05, something like that, out the door. You get a hot dog, which is a jumbo hot dog, and a large drink for like $2, and you can't go wrong there. All right, so let's add the seasoning right to the water. By adding it to the water, when you add the pasta absorbs the flavored or the seasoned water. So we're just adding some oregano, garlic herb, some black pepper. Now, let's close that again. Heats up faster. We're actually going to cut up one of these Slim Jims. You know, really, these little Slim Jim snack sticks, again, totally not healthy for you. But you cut one up rather than just eat it. Why not use it in something like this where you're actually making a whole meal with it instead of just eating both of these? I'm only going to eat the one. And this will be enough to feed 2 people, by the way. We also have a can of cannelli beans, 1 package of ramen noodle. You'll see here I got 2 more over here. You could use the shrimp one if you wanted to use the shrimp flavor. I don't eat a lot of those, but I do eat them once in a while. And then I'll also add a packet of Parmesan cheese to it. Now, if I'm going to make the white version of pasta fazool, but if you wanted to add tomatoes, you can always add some petite diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes, something like that. I prefer the diced. But this is a big can for what I'm doing, so I'm not going to bother opening it just to add a 1/4 cup or whatever to it. So I'm going to make the white version today, and that will use the whole can of cannelli beans. Again, ramen noodles, not very healthy. You start adding things like cannelli beans, if you wanted to saute some onions in the bottom of it before you started, things like that. It's a way of making this one cheap ramen noodle into more of a meal. Because, come on, people, this is not a meal. And especially not a meal for somebody like myself who is, 245 pounds and work the way I do. I want some food that's going to stick to my bones. We'll let this heat up. When it comes close to a boil, we'll add the cannelli beans. And then we're going to add the seasoned packet for the ramen. Here's the thing about the beans. The syrup that's in there, you got to decide how much of it you want in the soup and how thick you want the soup. Me, I drain a little bit of it out. I'd say about half, and then the rest goes in the pot. Close it up. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare the Slim Jims. Now, as you can see here, close the drawer. I cut the Slim Jim, one whole Slim Jim, on an angle. You can see it there, right here. Just makes it look a little bit better. It also adds a little more surface area without skin. Transfers the flavor a little bit better. And then we're going to put that in. Noodle part, I guess. That we're going to crush. I mean, really break it up nice and small. You don't want to turn it into a dust, but you want to break it up small. Remember, pasta fazool is normally made with the ditalini, like a real small pasta. So that's kind of what you're trying to create here, is small pasta. We're going to throw that in. Give it a little bit of stir. And we'll add one of these Parmesan cheese packets. 100% natural grated Parmesan cheese. Sprinkle that right on top. I know this seems like a lot, you're just making ramen noodles. And you might not add the Parmesan cheese, you might not add whatever, but when you're in a Walmart parking lot or whatever, parked at a truck stop, you're on the road, you're stopping at a Pilot or something like that, or a Flying J. You can put a movie on. I have Star Trek on. And make yourself something. And then it's not like a lot of work. Close it back up, it's still on high. And we're having a Draymond's Porter from Berkshire Brewing Company. And that's good. Look at that, nice beans. It's taking on a thickness. I'll let that go just a little bit longer. Now this whole process is only taken, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. Maybe a little longer. But mainly because I'm filming. It would be a lot quicker if I wasn't stopping to talk and this. Got a bowl. That must mean something. Got a rapid boil here. We need to... That's the thing about the rice cooker. You can always flip it to the low setting. There you have it, guys. Now I know my camera here is in what they call low light. So the colors might be a little washed out. You're not getting the full effect, but it's the only camera I have. I do not own a GoPro. I never owned a GoPro, so I do the best with what I have. So I got my little ladle here, and we're going to ladle some of this out into the bowl. Of course, I'm going to make a mess because I'm doing this one-handed. I can't lift the bowl up. You guys see that? Ramen FAZOOL, guys. Ramen FAZOOL. Alright, guys. Look at that, huh? Meat, beans, pasta, broth. Take a little Parmesan cheese. Sprinkle it on the top here. I mean, no. We're not talking high-end cuisine here, guys. Talking Star Trek, making the best of what we have. I mean, I made a meal out of ramen noodles, a Slim Jim, some packaged Parmesan cheese, a can of cannelli beans. I mean, what's the total cost of this? And there's still, you know, half a pot, 3/4 of a pot still in the rice cooker. What was the cost, huh? 20 cents for the ramen noodles, 40 cents for the can of cannelli beans. So let's just say $1 for the Slim Jim. Little seasoning, stuff you have on hand. Water. It's like less than $3. You feed 2 people. Now I wouldn't do this all the time, guys. This is not a healthy diet. But I still say it's more healthy than a cheeseburger at McDonald's. That's what I'm talking about. Of course, it's going to be ridiculously hot. I'm telling you guys, you got to try it. Tastes like pasta fazool. Even the pasta in your mouth, you'd swear it's ditalini. Like I said, pasta fazool was a peasant dish. Now it's on every Italian restaurant's menu. You pay for it. And not cheap either. Cooking with BlackTop Boondocker. We're not doing it by a fire, unfortunately. I know my schedule's been crazy. Between my truck, pop-up base camp, work, landscaping, planting trees. My schedule is tight, guys. Tight. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to finish eating. Finish this episode of Star Trek. And we'll talk to you soon. Alright, guys. Slim Jim. Come on. That's pretty good. Alright, guys.